We're going to finish up. Tomorrow we are going to have our first quiz of the new quarter. Let's finish this up. Everything we go over today will be on that quiz. So it says 3 equivalent. We're just going to name 2. What did we say to multiply it so we're all consistent? By 2 and 3. So 7 times 2 is 14. 9 times 2 is 9 times 2 is 18. And then we'll do it again, times 3, times 3. So 7 times 3 is 21. 9 times 3 is 27. And then I have to see, okay. So on this one, name the first one by multiplying it through by 2.
10 over 12.
10 over 12. And then do it again by 3. 15 over 18, done. Then we'll take all of the fractions, put them in decimal form. All right, so this one, just reduce it. No, they don't want decimal. They just want you to simplify. Who knows what goes into both of those numbers? Does 16 go into 18? That's the first thing you want to check.
1/3.
Yeah, it does. So we're dividing by 16. Dividing by 16, show me your work. And that is 1 over 3. Let me see if there's any other in the simplest form. Okay. Then this one is one that I want you to memorize.
7.125.
Very good. 7.125. Here's one that you should memorize. This one.
12.75.
Oh, it's not going to be 7.5. Let's suppose I forgot. What would you do if you forgot? Divide. 1 divided by 3. So it's going to go, it doesn't go in here, it goes in 3. 3 times that is 9. And it looks like it's going to keep on repeating and be what? Yeah, 3, 3, 3 with a bar over it, or I could just put 1, 3. Now, also start memorizing this. If 2/3. So 2/3 would be double that. It would be 12.66. It would keep going. So I could put 12.6 with a bar over it.
Would it be the same for 9?
For number 9?
No, for like, if you had, like, 9.
9. Well, the next one, it would be 1/3, 2/3, and 3/3 would just be another whole number. Okay. All right. Then let's do this one as a decimal. If you don't know it, what do you have to do?
Divide.
You have to divide, and we'll just do the division right here. Oops, divided by 11. And I think this is going to start being a repeating. So is it 5?
It's 5 close of 1.
And then we get a 6. Well, what's repeating though?
5, 4.
Okay, the 5, 4, because you're right. That 60 is going to start repeating, so it's going to be 0.54. Then this one as improper, you just do check plus, so the 2 goes at the bottom, and I just go check plus, and I'm multiplying. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 1 more is 11, and that was my original. I had 11 cookies. 2 are going to go in each box. I could make 5.5 boxes. Then this one, make it as a fraction. What is that going to be? 64 hundredths, and then we can divide it by 2, which is 32 over 50. Can we divide it by 2 again?
Yes.
So 16 over 25. And I think that's it. And we'll do these real quick. We're not going to do the word problems. So a negative is always what compared to a positive?
Less.
Less. It's always colder. Okay. Then this one, when you've got 2 cold numbers, what's that? Where's the division signs for you?
It's like a division.
It's supposed to be a plus this time.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a positive. All right, so on this one, when you've got 2 negatives, the colder one is the lowest. The one closest to 0 on the thermometer is the warmest. Which one do you think is colder? 6 degrees below 0 or 7 degrees below 0? 7. So it gets 1 dot, this one gets 2. And then this one we have to convert. Yeah, I can either do check plus on this one, or I can make it into mix. I'll do check plus. So 2 times 8 is 16, plus 1 is 17, and you are right. Show me why it's equal, and that's why. And I'm not going to worry about this because we're going to have some more of those in a second. So we're going to close that up. Since we did most of this together, I'm probably not going to pick it up. You can keep that. You can study with it. We're going to go through. I think I've got everything here that will be on a test. And this is going to be, today's Wednesday. It is assignment number 3. And we're going to, oh, I don't know if we did these already. Did we do any, if it's closer to 0, half, or 1? Did we do any of those? We didn't? Okay, well, they're really easy. Okay, so what you look at the 28. What's half of 28? What's half of 28? 14. Isn't this pretty close to 14? So if this number, if half of it is close to that number, this one's close to a half. Okay, it's close to a half. Then, I'll probably have some of them. Because what's half of 12? Is that close to 6? No. So this one's closer to 1. It only needs 2 more to be completely filled. This one's closer to 1.
But how would you like tell if it's closer to half?
It's like,
If it's 6 over 12, it would be a half. So this one, it's how many away from being half? It's 4 away from being half, but it's only 2 away from being 12 over 12. 12 over 12 would be a whole. So then let's look at this one. What's half of this? What's half of 66? 33. Okay. All right. So it's saying, is it closer to 0, a half, or what? Well, it's certainly not close to 1 because 66 over 66 is 1. So it's either closer to a half or 0. It's 22 away from 0, but it's only 11 away from 33. So what do you think it's closer to, a half or 0? A half. This one should be easy. Just look at it. It only needs how many to be 100 over 100? So it's closer to what? It's closer to 1. Like half of this would be 50. I'm so far away from 50. So this one's closer to 1. Then I can also take off, what's that? I'm going to take off with these zeros. So, oh, this is a good one. I wouldn't even use a half, or this is one where I'd say it's 3/4, because in between a half and 1, and I would not have something like that on the test. It's going to be very distinct because half of that is 20. A whole would be 40 out of 40, so they're the same distance. I'm just going to put it's approximately 3/4. It's not either. It's not closer to half. It's not closer to a whole. It's 3/4. Just leave it like that. This one should be pretty easy though. What's half of 80? 40. So do you think this is closer to a half, or do you think it's closer to 0? 0. And that's all those are. We'll do one more. Let's do one more column here. Half of 11 is 5.5. So this is, it's 2.5 from the half. 5.5 is a half. So it's 2.5 from, the 8 is 2.5 from this, but for it to be full, it's 3 away from the 11. So which is closer, 2.5 or 3? 3, so it's closer to a half. This one should be easy. Half of $9 is $4.50. Is this close to $4.50? So it's closer to a half. What's half of 100? Is 55 close to 50? Yes, so it's closer to a half. And that's about it. I'm going to give you some that are so, like, it'll be like this one, and this one. It'll be so distinct that you won't miss it. You will not have any like this one here. Right. So then let's look at these. Let me get out of here at what time? Alrighty, so all right. So now we're going to put less than or greater than, and when and the reason that we did this is a lot of times you can use that half method to compare. For example, look at this one here. 5. What's half of $5 is 2.5. Is this less than a half or greater? It's less. But look at this one. Half of 25 is like 12.5. So this one is greater. So that means this one is smaller. Then sometimes I can't tell. So if you can't tell, you cross multiply in an upwards direction. 9 times 4 is 36. 5 times 7 is 35. These were so close you had to cross multiply. So the 36 is what? It's 36 is what compared to 35? 36 is what compared to 35?
Greater.
Greater. Thank you. Okay. And I can already tell on this. This is a quarter. I could also do decimals. It's 0.25. This one's 0.30. So this one is what? This is a quarter. This one is 0.30. So this one is less than. Or I could have cross multiplied. That's 10 and that's 12. It would still be smaller.
Are you going to take 10 off and take cross multiply?
No. You could do it either. Yes. If we're going over it, it will be on the quiz. But some of them, you know, you can still cross multiply, but this is a half. This one here is less than a half. Yeah, we'll do that one. So this one is less than a half, but you could have also cross multiplied. In fact, this one I can already tell. Watch care. What's half of 30? What's half of 30? So 15. This is less than a half. Watch the difference. Half of, oh, these are both less. 15, half of that is 7.5. Oh no, this one is, they're both less. So I have to cross multiply. No, I don't. I can reduce this one. Take half of 14 is 7. Half of 30 is 15. So they are what? They're equal. So watch those where they're so big. And I think I have to cross multiply, but I had to look again. Nope, I could reduce that. All right, then let's finish up that column. This one is obviously what compared to the 2/5? It's obviously greater. This one is greater than a half. This one is less than a half.
Less than a half, is it automatically 0? For the top one? The top one?
No, I'm not. We're comparing. We're doing less than
Yeah,
equal
I
to.
know,
But if it's greater, this one's greater than a half. This one's less than a half. So this one would be greater than this
When
one.
you tell whether the fraction is close to 0 or 1/2 or not, if it's like less than the half, is it going to be automatically?
Not automatically, because this one here is so close to like 2.5 that I would say it's close to a half. If it was 1/5, I would say 0. All right. So go down to the next section. Alrighty. So we've got to figure out these. How do I put them in order? All of these are greater than a half. Right. So we've got to do it a different way. Do you know which one? Who thinks they know which one is the greatest? I'm thinking it's 5/6, only because I only need one more for it to be 6/6. But that's just my guess. But you can compare 2 at a time. So I'm going to take 3/4 and 5/6, and I'm just going to cross multiply. So 6 times 3 is 18. 5 times 4 is 20. So all I know is The 5/6 is greater than that. So then I'm going to take 5/6 and 7/9. I could have also done it, who knows, another way. Well, these are all greater than a half, so I couldn't have done that way then. Is the decimal. I could have divided all of them and gotten the decimal method, and I'll do that in just a second. But I'm going to cross multiply in this one. 9 times 5 is 45. 6 times 7 is 42. So I know this one is going to be either here or here, but I don't know. So I know the biggest one, though, is 5/6. And then I just have to compare this last one and the first one. 9 times 3 is 27. 4 times 7 is 28. So it is going to go, the first one is going to be 3/4. The next one is 7/9. And let me just show you that one as a decimal. So 3/4 we should know is 0.75. Then 5/6, 5 divided by 6, at least get the first number. It goes into that, is it 8? So I already know it's bigger than the first one. So 0.8, and we'll carry it out more if we need to. And then 7/9, 7 divided by 9. 9 goes into 70, is it 8 times? Oh, it doesn't go 8. It goes 7. And then it goes on. Yes, sir?
Can you cross multiply for like any fraction?
Yes. But again, like I can't cross multiply this one and this one and this one at the same time. I've got to take them 2 at a time to see its position. So this decimal came to 0.7. So it might have been faster. So my smallest one was the 7/9. No, it's not. I have to go, because that's a 7, I have to go one more. 7 times that is 63. That goes 70. It's going to be a 7. My smallest one is the 3/4. My next one is the 7/9. And my next one is that one that started with 8. With 8.8, right? These are all less than a half, so I really can't use the half method. You can either use the decimal. This one's not a bad one for decimal. Or common denominator. Which one do you want to use, decimal or common denominator? I think common denominator, which is 20. So this one I'd multiply by what?
2.
By 2. And I honestly, if all of them are going to be 20 on the bottom, I don't even need to the bottom, but I need to know what I'm multiplying by. 4 times what will give me 20?
4.
Times 5. 5 times what will give me 20? 4. So my top numbers are going to be 6. 5 times 1 is 5. 2 times 4 is 8. So this one is the smallest, which is 1/4. The next one is the 3/10. And the next one is the 2/5. All right. That actually, because of tenths, it might not have been bad doing decimal, but it's okay. So this one, I am going to do the half method. This one is less than a half. The last one is less than a half. So I know who knows the biggest one? That's exactly equal to a half. Come on, I've got 5 brains sitting in chairs. This one's less than a half. The first one's less than a half. Which one is the biggest of the 3? This one, the 7.5. So that is the large one. And at that point, I just need to, so I'm done with that one. I just need to cross multiply. 8 times 5 is 40. 12 times 3 is 36. So the 36 is the very smallest. And then the middle one is this one. So number 12, they're all greater than a half. Who thinks they know which the biggest one is? For sure, there's no doubt. But what's 3/4 as a decimal? Isn't that 0.75? This one would be, like if I tacked on a 0, it would be 0.90. Isn't this 9 only 1 away from 10? So you have to use, your wisdom here. So it's going to be 4 and 9/10 is the largest. Or I could have gotten common denominator. Who knows a common denominator? Is it 40? It's my spammer friend. Oh no, that's a message. Okay. So I could have used a common denominator. Do you want to use common denominator or what?
Yes.
Guys, because you need to know how to do it.
Yeah.
Again, common denominator, 4, 8, 10. 10.
80?
You know what? In this case, it doesn't matter if it's 40 or 80, because as long as we have the same number, let's use 80 on the bottom. So 8 times 10 is 80, so this is times 8. 4 times 20 is 80, so times 20. 8 times 10 is 80, so it's times 10. So this number is going to be 72. This is going to be 60. This is going to be 50. Which is the smallest? 4 and 5/8. So again, it didn't matter if you used a 40 or an 80, just something, all of them will go in. So it's 4 and 5/8. And when all else fails, you can divide and get a decimal. And then, so we're done with that one. The next one has to be the 60, 4 and 3/4. And the next one is 4 and 9/10. And then these should be easy. Which one is the correct decimal? A, B, C, or D? Is he right? 9/10, 9/10. That is correct. Which is the correct one for number 2? It's 8 and something. Yeah, 1700ths. Which one is the correct one for the number 3? 12, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 zeros here. 12 thousandths. Which one is the correct one for this one? 2 and something. How many places over? 1, 2, 3, 4, which means I should have 4 zeros. Which one has 4 zeros on the bottom? The D. So it's going to have 4 zeros and a 1 in the front, and this is it. And then let's flip it over. Alrighty. So write each as a decimal. Know how to do the easy way to do the decimal. All right. So how could I make this into a decimal quickly? If I have a 10 on the bottom or 100, can I make this into a 10 or 100?
Yes.
I'd multiply it by what? By 2 by 2. So it's 8 over 100. And now convert it to a decimal. So 0.2 places, 1, 2, and you're right. Now this one, can I reduce this first? Yes. Cut it in half. So that's going to be 3 over 4. What's 3 out of 4 quarters? 0.75. Oh, in fact, here's the same thing. 3 out of 4 quarters, 0.75. All right, this one, can I divide through on this one? So what goes into both of these? A 5. So we get 7 over 8. Oh, this is my eighths. So 125 times 7. 0.125 times 7. And that's right. Is 0.875. Then, can you make this into 100, that 25? By multiplying it by what? By 4 and by 4. So we've got 8 over 100. So my final answer is 8 point, you're right, 2 places, and that 8 goes here. So know those techniques. Can I make this one into 100? Times 5 times 5. So 22 and 15 hundredths. And as a decimal, it is, yeah, 22.15. Make sure we get through these. Okay. Then these are pretty easy here. Now we're putting it into a fraction. 24 over what number? Thank you for telling me about the time. So I need to go apologize to the coach.
It happens.
Oh my goodness.
We can't be stressing.
Okay. Thank you for, thank you. Alrighty. Then 24 over what?
100.
Over 100, which equals, now we are reducing it. How do we get from 25 to 25? Dividing by what? Dividing by 4, 4. So that's going to be 6 over 25. Then this one, who knows what this is going to be? How do I say this? 9 over what? 9 over 1,000, and there's no reducing. How do we write this one? 8 over 75 over 1,000. Am I going to be mean and make you reduce that? Not today. Okay. All right. So let's go over write each decimal. I think it's going to be 7 over 8. In fact, I'm going to divide it by quarters. Okay, so we can do this. Okay. How many quarters in $8? There's 4 quarters in $1. What's 4 times 8? 32. Plus 3 more quarters. 35. Okay. And then, how many quarters in $1? 4 with an extra 0. And then can that be reduced one more time? By 5, by 5, and I think we had that before. Yeah, right here, 7 over 8. So it's going to be 6 and 7 over 8. And then we've got to get down to these other ones. We can do this. Okay, so these here, you will put them in simplest form. So this is 10 and what? 6 over 10. Can that be reduced to 10 and cut it in half, cut it in half? 3 over 5. Next one right here. 3 and 8 over what? 100. And actually we could divide both of those by 4. 3 and what? Very good. Then this one is 5 and 125 over how many zeros? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 with a 1. It's money, so what can we divide money by? By a quarter. Okay, so we're dividing it by a quarter. How many quarters in $1.25? 5. Yeah, but I can't do that in my head. So, and then, so the quarter, I take it into 100 first. How many quarters in 100? 4 with how many extra zeros? So 400. And then we could divide it by 5 again. So our final answer is going to be 5, and 5 divided by 5 is 1 over, well, hold on. How many times does 5 go into 40? 5 into 40? 8 plus 1 extra 0. 80. Then 9 and 42 over what? And this one I think you could just do it once. by cutting it in half. 21 over what? Over 50. And then these are simple, easy peasy. Write a bar over the repeating. What is repeating on this one?
1, 2, 1.
Is it 1, 2, 1 or is it 12, 12? I think it's the 12, 12 is repeating.
There's a 1.
But it's okay, but that means it's repeating. So I'm going to say it's point like that. What is repeating on this one?
6, 3, 6, 3, 6, 3.
You could have a point, Caitlin. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 12, 12. I'm gonna look at that one because I'm thinking now that I look at it, is it the 21 that's repeating?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So 1, yeah, we'll take it to the end and say that. So the first one is not, but then the 21. Right. Then what's repeating on this one? Is this the same? Yeah. So the 6 and then 36, 36. And this one for sure, it is just the what?
18.
It's the 18. And then you will have some where terminating and repeating. This one for sure terminates because it has a 5 in it. Because we already know what this is. Times 4 times 4. This one's going to be 28, and 1 times 4 is 4 over 100. That's it. But let's go ahead and figure out this one. How do I find out what's happening here? Just divide. We have no other choice. So I'm going to do it over here. 2 divided by 9. We'll see how far we can take this. Put a decimal. Oh, it's repeating right away. What's repeating? The 2. So this one is going to be 35.2 with a bar over it. I have a feeling, which other one do you think is going to be repeating? I'm thinking the 31. So let's do the 9 divided by 11. I hope I left enough room. So it goes in 8. 8 times that is 88. 2 times 11 in. Oh, it's 1. Oh, here it is, right here. So subtract, I get a 9. And then it's going to repeat, and we're going to get a what? 11 into 90 is 8. Guess what's repeating? The 81. So 58.81. And 12, I don't know if it repeats or not. This one. 6 over 12. I guess it looks like we're not going to have homework. I thought I was going to give you some, but I don't think so. I don't think so. All right, so 7 divided by 12. Just do it right here, find a spot. Doesn't go in. 12 goes into that 5 times, which is 60. Get a 10. Put another 0. And it's going to be an 8. 8 times 12 is 96. We get a 4. I should have used paper, but I just didn't want to. Oh, I think it's going to start repeating here. 12 goes into that 3 times. 3 times 12 is 36, and we get another what? A 4. So what's going to be repeating? Hold on, Abinab. The 3, just the 3. Because that's going to be another 40 goes into that 3. So it's going to be 64.583 with a bar over it. And we're almost done. And I didn't want to do all of them because I wanted to make sure we covered each and every section, which we are. Okay, so which one's colder?
They're the same.
They're the same. 6 1/4, 6 1/4, equal. Which one's colder? The -3 degrees. Which one's colder? Yeah, the negative is always colder than a positive. Ooh, this is interesting. Which one's warmer? Yeah, the 0.5, it's above 0. So that's greater than. And then we're going to do these. This is the last part. This is good timing. Okay, so which is the coldest?
1/5.
Over here.
Yeah, 1/5. 5 1/5.
Which one's closer to 0? 1/5 or 1/2? 1/5. That's the warmer one. So the coldest is -5 1/2. The next one is -5 1/5. And by the way, I have to show you this real fast. You can also cross multiply with negative numbers. 2 times 1 is a -2. 5 times 1 is a -5. 5 is colder, -5 is colder than -2. Let's get these in order. Are these already in order? These are already in order. All right. And then on this one, which is the coldest? Caitlin, hold on one second. Okay. Which one's the coldest? -5 1/2. The next coldest is this -1. And the last one is this. Expect a test on any of this tomorrow. Okay? And you can go. Goodbye.
Did everyone see my water bottle?
Is that right? Is it right there?
Oh, yeah, thank you.
You're welcome, hon.
Very much.
No homework. Yee-hee. Every week I miss my 7th grade. You didn't do your...
Yeah, I came in right when the bell rang and right when we were starting prayer.
Okay, so how do you want to do this? Because I had to
I can
change...
come during dismiss unless... Yeah, because Mr. Ty's here.
Okay,
I can come during dismissal.
okay. Don't even go down to Mr. Ty.
Yeah, I'll just come straight here.
Come straight here, and I'll see if Miss Rocha will change back the grade. Okay, because I had to revert it back. Okay. Give me money. Give me money.